Now, oh, I can hear myself now. Checking sound,
I'm on too.
sound. Okay.
So,
Oh,
welcome to the finals of the
you're
Capital
full, right?
League.
Yep. There you got it. Thank you.
I don't know.
Hey, Todd. You want me to do the timer? Yeah, okay. You can just tell me and I'll press it.
Yeah, they're going to play full 8 ends. There's nobody on afterward.
Uh, the timers? I don't.
Well, all right.
I
I'm
think
Ken
you should
Clark
just
on
go
your
for the whole 8 ends.
webcast controls. You want to introduce yourselves on the webcam here?
We're on the webcam?
Yeah, right there, see?
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
want-
I'm Brian Dauernheim.
And I'm Bruce Black. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we're here broadcasting the Capital League Finals for, I believe they said it was the 6th year in a row. It will be either Weber or Clausen winning the title.
Correct.
So both these teams were the top two teams all year, by far and away. I think they lost a few games here and there, but really only lost to each other.
That's
most
pretty
of the
much
way.
correct.
So,
Yes.
so clearly it's going to be a well-fought match, evenly matched game. And yeah, we're looking forward to having a good one. They're just finishing up their practice slides now. And let's see, let's introduce the teams. How about that? So it looks like on Team Clausen, it looks like it's
Eric
one of the Kennedys is playing lead for him.
That
instead
would
of
be Cedar Kennedy.
Cedar, yeah.
Eli Clausen, Ron Aubin, and Eric Clausen at skip. You have to see what the lineup. And there's somebody making faces at us.
That's right. So for Team Weber, we have Jeremy Unterbach. I forget what his last name is. Unter something. Unterbach? All right. Gilad Kempenich, George Shirk, and
Calvin Weber.
I'm going to just turn mine down. Just
Sure.
I feel like I'm... Yep.
And on sheet
Underborn.
C,
Underborn. I knew it.
Underborn.
Underborn.
Yep.
On sheet C, we
All right,
have
all right.
the finals of the
really
Senate
tight. Yep.
plaque. And we have Tony's Beer Distributors against Catherine Gorgonova, our junior women's team.
So for those not familiar, the Senate plaque is basically the consolation bracket. It's for the teams that were not in the top 4. It's like the 5 through 8 matchups.
Correct.
But you get your name on a plaque at the end. So.
And over on sheet D, we have the finals of the House plaque, which are teams 9 through 12.
And that is Chris against Hack Street Boys.
Correct.
Yep.
All right, so we're underway now. First rocks being thrown all over. Eli using his, he's still not sure if it's actually effective or not, but he's using his backwards sweeping technique, which he thinks keeps the scratches in line with the sweeper. So if you notice, there's directional sweeping now. So when you have that little bit of diagonal sweep across the face of the stone, and a lot of the reasons they standardize on the broom fabric is that they think that the scratches formed by the brushing of the brooms on the ice are what actually makes it curl and doesn't curl. So Eli's theory is that if you keep the scratches moving the same way, you basically are more effective than sweeping the opposite way of your main sweeper. So he started sweeping backwards in the direction of that he's supposed to promote or prevent the curl. That's his theory.
His theory.
Yep.
I've heard that about the directional sweeping and the micro abrasions on the surface of the ice.
Turn down the ice mic.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
Hard. Hard.
I feel like the ice mic is just a little bit high, so we're going to turn that down a little bit. just narrowly missing the double on that one, but he does make the hit and roll away.
Hit this, roll on top. Control weight. Yep.
Gilad looking a little bit down weight on this one.
Hard.
And possibly a little bit narrow. But they're holding it out there.
I don't know if they're going to get much. Well, they will.
They got it.
They got it. Don't have to get much, and they'll roll in. Lead back 4. Back 8.
Not a bad result.
Yellow has hammer here. Ron Nobbin is coming up with his first shot. Stone is away. It's looking to take out a stone on the top 4.
They don't really need to throw doubles at this point. They're just trying to see if maybe they can get a jam out of the other team. It's very nicely done. Sitting shot rock in the top 4.
Just control weight. Yeah, action control. Yep.
Gilad confirming that he did not throw quite enough weight at the last one. He said actual control weight at this one.
You like here or here? Okay. Yep. Yes, line.
Calvin's still not liking this one very much. Like I said, he doesn't want to over curl too much and have a jam in the back. But this looks pretty good.
He's got it.
Wait only, guys.
And rolls over to the top 8.
Gotta be here, guys. Nose in, take out a weight. Double shot, take weight. Bring them side by side, both of you now. Take shot.
Ron Nobbin's second shot.
Okay, good. Shot.
Taking out Gilad's second shot. Top 8. Stone is away.
Ready. Close. Close.
And nice run back double.
Yep. That's all. Almost was predetermined once they rolled in front there.
Control weight.
So the rest of this end should be pretty straightforward. It's going to end up being a lot of hits and possibly a blank. It's still a lot of rocks to go. You never know.
Yep. Gotta go. Hard, go on.
Oh, George is looking a little bit down weight on this one too.
Yep, hard.
Looks like he's got it.
And he does it.
Pretty much a nice hit.
Sweepers are really able to hold the line pretty straight so far today. It's a good sign for some good curling. If you can get your rocks to stay where you want them to and control the weight and the curl, that'll be key to see who takes this one.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Come on.
So Eric Clausen is still using the stabilizer. He injured his hand. I think he had some tendonitis or something a while back, and not really able to use the broom to deliver because it puts too much pressure on his thumb in a weird way, and so he's using the stabilizer. Makes that one and rolls out. So Weber now with a little decision time where you want to put this one to make it hard for Clausen to take it out.
Yes. Yes.
And on sheet C, Diana Black just executes a perfect double.
Humble brag. The brag. First check-in on the other sheet, and it happened to be his daughter. Go figure.
I was just looking at the stone flying down.
It was a
there.
very
They
nice
get some
shot. I
perfect doubles.
saw it as well. So this one ends up short of the house. So let's see. Be interesting to see what they decide to do here. It's like they're setting up to draw around or maybe draw open. I don't know.
Well, he has the hammer. He could draw in behind the corner guard that was just thrown.
If he makes it well, then you're going to force Weber to maybe have to play a run back or a tough freeze. It's a little bit of an aggressive play, but I like it.
I like going in. Go in, get one on the corner.
I mean, the only question is, do you know what the weight is going to do on this line? It's very early in the game. Not many draws have been thrown. They've thrown all hits mostly.
That's true, but Eric prepared the ice. Eric's throwing the stone.
Yeah.
We know it's about 14.5 seconds from hog to hog.
Yeah,
that
heavy.
looks heavy and out wide. That's not going to bury, even if it stays. No, it's through.
So that makes an opening for Weber now. Now we get to see if Calvin learned anything from that last draw.
He too is trying to hide behind that corner guard. That looks like it's pretty far out.
It did look like he let it go a little bit wider than he was hoping.
Yeah, that's sitting on the center line. That will not vary.
It's also got to dig in a bit. It does.
It's in the house, but it's behind the tee.
Wide open, though.
Sitting open.
So Eli Clausen throwing last rocks for this team.
Yeah! Just at it! Just at it! Jimmy, off! Whoa!
That one
looks a little wide.
Oof. This might be on
He
that
may-
guard.
I think he's on the guard.
Wow, it is on the guard.
On the guard.
And it
And
rolls.
rolls across the house and out.
That's a tough one.
That's
I
a
mean, he
tough
didn't
one.
throw it super heavy, but just kind of hung out there. He actually asked for more ice before he came back to throw that shot, but that was definitely wide and needed the icing through. He had the broom pretty close to the edge of that rock, and
The way he threw.
more than a rock wide of that.
Well, I think what Weber will do here is with the second one in the house and force.
Yeah, he's just going to try to split
the
it as
house.
far apart as he can. That's why he's putting the broom on the inside of his rock that's in the house, so he can get as much separation as possible. Probably really a little bit of a victory for him after when they were looking like they were just going to blank and they came up short of the house and threw a guard. All of a sudden, Eric Clausen threw it through the house and gave them an opening to get a force out of it. So he's got to be in, though, and try to get it separated. It's running really straight.
He's getting
You know
a good
that-
curl now. It's
Yeah,
coming over.
you know that if they're close at all, Eli's going to take a shot at the double just to see if he can blank it. But no, that's a real good
That's
shot.
a nice shot to the top 4. Biting the
But
button.
it's
Right
it'll
on the
be an
button.
open hit to get his single.
And we just finished up on sheet C. I think it might have been a blank end, but I wasn't quite paying attention.
It was a blank end. They hung the 1
They did hang the 1 underneath the
on the right.
on the blank side. Yep. Here's the last rock over here on sheet B, our feature sheet. Eli just trying to hit and stick for the 1. Slight bobble on the slide.
Whoa!
Hair wide on that one as well, but I
That's
think
curling
he
it.
should be all right. Oh, he's got to
It's
hold on
curling.
though.
It's going to hit split across.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Ooh, he just rolled too far.
to give up a steal of 1.
That's a steal of 1 for Team Weber in the first end. A little bit of a uneven end for Eli there. He usually is pretty solid on those. That one just tracked on that center line a little bit and wouldn't
Straight
get
on the
off.
center line, knocked him over. Didn't throw a tremendous amount of weight on it.
No, I thought he threw pretty decent weight and just didn't want to curl. All right, so Team Clausen will have the hammer here in the second end. Continuing on.
We finished on sheet C, but I have no idea what happened, or D. I have no idea
They
what
have
happened
not
there.
hung a score yet, so we'll update you on that sheet when they get a score.
That was supposed to be a center line guard, although it's about 1.5 feet off the center line. Clausen's going to use that to come in behind.
Control. Good.
Line looks good.
Good.
Good weight, good line.
Hard. Guard. Hard. Yep.
I had that one at about a 13.6 hog to hog, and it's falling a little bit to the back 8, which is about what you would expect for that kind of
Weight.
split weight.
This rock's gonna cut a little more.
Let's see what Jeremy can do now.
Yes, line. Whoa, how much? How much? How much weight?
Good line.
Gilad is called hack weight. It's a 12.5, so it is a little heavy, but it's going to get a piece of that yellow. Bump it out.
Remain on the back 8.
Still looking for
Hide
something a
behind the
little
corner
over
guard.
a 14 on a hog to hog. That was a 12.5, so the weight of the ice is about our usual draw weight, but nobody's really dialed it in just yet.
Move it early. That's good. What is it?
That still looks a bit hot.
It does. It's probably more than his first one even.
He's coming through.
Needs a little piece of that red. Oh, and
And
it was
just
all the way to back line.
all the way to the back line.
Top 8.
I'm still here trying to get use that guard that's up there, but nobody's quite been able to get around it. Every rock that we've seen is, I think all the skips have called an initial, like maybe they thought it was tight and then it was not. This one, the nose is wide, for sure.
There's a lot of weight.
This one's curling more. Gilad has that little bit of a lazy handle, and sometimes his cut more than the other ones. This is a 13.4, so it's down to the other one for sure. But
And it'll be on that back stone. Pop the yellow out, sitting 2 in the back house.
Probably not your ideal situation, but
Plenty of backing.
yeah. Let's see if Ron Aubin can get one behind now.
Trying. Ron Aubin is away. Looks a bit wide. And that also looks heavy.
Eli's calling hack. See if we get a little flop over on top of that. See, there's the backing coming into play now.
That's
You
right.
Can't really remove that yellow rock.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take some off.
See if anybody, you know, it's one of those ends where the first one to actually get behind that guard is going to be in really good shape.
That's
But
right.
so far, we've had about 4 or 5 in a row where nobody's been able to make it. Sweepers were on that early. They thought it might have been light, but they have plenty of room. They do
It's
not have
curling
any
well
backing.
now. I think this is going to be a fine shot.
It's a little bit less weight. It's still a little heavy, I think.
It's coming over to about the tee. It is going just behind the tee. It is, well, that's not shot.
Yeah, yellow is shot. Eric's tabbing his own to show him that there's still shot rock. Just a fraction of an inch too far.
And they're trying the shot once again. Eric, you know, it's interesting. Eric has been taking about 6 inches more ice than Calvin. Starting to curl well. Weight looks better.
Had a 14.5 on that one.
By the guard. And that will be just in front of the tee. Oh,
He's bringing it a little behind.
Eli's bringing it behind. All right.
Lots, everything behind the tee line except for that one guard.
So Clausen is now sitting 2.
Hey, you are right. Calvin has his broom
Has
tighter
broom in.
than.
Tighter broom.
I mean, some of that depends on what your teammates do as far as their releases and things like that.
Whoa! Yes, Glenn! Hard! Hard!
This looks like a nice shot from George.
Hard! Come on!
He's got to hold the line a little
Hold
bit.
the line.
Don't want it to curl across the nose of that yellow.
And right onto the nose.
Very good. Shot rock. Buried behind that guard very nicely.
I don't hate just sitting on it. If you like the back line, we can do that too. Okay.
So Eric's initial thought was to just tap it back a little bit, maybe sit 3. If you get a little bit lucky, move it far enough. But Eli also kind of likes just freezing to it. It's a tough one. You got to kind of make your decision now when you're in the hack, rather than try to decide halfway down that you threw it too heavy, or because those are 2 completely different lines and weights that you're going to be coming up against there. put the broom way tighter than he did for those draws, though. So it looks like he is going to try the little tap back. He just called backline weight.
He may try to hit it on the inside and send it out to the left.
Yeah, maybe, but he wants
right.
he wants his rock to stay
Correct.
somewhere. I think ideally he wants it to stay in front of the tee, but nobody's been able to do that yet. And the angle has to be just right. You're probably going to rub that
Saying
yellow.
board weight. He's going to hit it on the inside.
This one's got some moving to do, though. Here comes Eli trying to push it a little bit. Just by that guard.
And that's a fine shot.
As they sit,
to sit three.
Three now, yeah. It did still roll behind the tee, though. Everything's still behind the tee.
Everything's behind the tee.
Which is still kind of good news for Calvin, you know?
Well, Calvin's looking at a double here.
You can throw the double. You can also just kind of hit that and roll over a little bit. This is going to be a different line than they've been throwing all in, though. So
yeah.
that's always there's always a danger. Where are you going to put the broom for this that you haven't thrown?
All right, it's coming with the out turn. I think he's going to hit and then flop over in front of the others.
Yeah, and if you hit it a little bit thin, then maybe you make the double.
Correct.
On it early. Whoa.
Oh, yeah, let that. Oh, here it goes. Oh, they're going. It's going to hit it.
Come on, Jeremy, hurry! Right to it, hurry!
I think he's
Hit
trying
it
to get
thin.
the double.
And he does get the double.
Oh, yeah.
What a beautiful shot.
And that's right in front of that yellow as well. Really, really kind of tough spot for Clausen to be in now.
Clausen does have the hammer, but they may force him to take one. It's going to be difficult for Clausen to take two.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Clausen is. Yeah, and you don't want to come up with your last rock and be looking at a pile of reds, you know, that you're drawing against or anything like that. So. Eric's put the broom in the same spot he was for those draws earlier, right? So
Yes, he has. He's taking ice on the edge of the 4-foot ring. Let's see if Eric has the right weight here. Line looked good.
They're calling back 8, back 12 out of his hand, so it's coming in nice. I think if he kind of
comes over onto the nose.
A little bit off nose, push that red back a little bit, be okay. That's a pretty nice weight. Sitting shot again. Everything's still behind the tee, in case you were wondering.
Everything's still behind the tee, that's right. Still haven't hung a score over on sheet D yet.
Well into their second end. Actually throwing second to last rock.
Yeah, they're about to throw the hammer rock here.
They also just finished the second end on sheet C, but haven't hung a score yet, so looks like red. Red must have scored because it looked like they had
thrown the first shot.
And, yeah, they're throwing the first shot. So Calvin here trying to figure out where he wants to hit this one. My guess is he wants to hit it a little bit inside of just off nose, so that the yellow that's in the 4-foot kind of squirts out to the right of your, or away from those red rocks, basically. He doesn't want to jam that in there. He wants to cross the face of this one.
Potentially roll a shooter behind the corner guard.
Yeah.
looks like he's going to pretty much.
Oh,
Look at that.
Shot. Very nice. Red now sitting 3.
Sitting 3. 1, 2, 3, and 5. And on sheet C, the Senate plaque, Tony's Beer Distributors picked up a deuce in the second end. Sheet D, the score was hung. 1 yellow and yellow.
Should be Chris.
Yep, Hack Street Boys.
Hack Street Boys is throwing red rocks, so.
You got the, those are reversed.
Yep.
Good, you got it.
All right, so Eli here. Looks like he just has ice for maybe a back line kind of tap.
Yeah, sit on the nose, and again, if he can roll in behind that top corner guard, he's going to be in good shape.
They took ice a little closer to that center line, so they have to hold it a little bit more than they have been. George is getting ready to sweep it.
And a nice hit, and it does. It comes in behind the corner guard. I think they probably can still see about a quarter of that stone.
You can see a little bit of it, but there's all those rocks behind the tee line. There's jams all over the place now. I think if he hits what he can see, he's going to jam on that red in the extreme 12-foot over there. So he almost has to throw like the same weight that Eli threw and just kind of hope to squeeze it through that hole. You just can't hit it thin, I think. I think if he hits it.
He's also looking at the run back on the, is he? I
No,
can't
I
tell.
think he's just looking to see how much room he has.
Yeah.
Signaling that he wants to throw bumper weight, maybe.
So sheet D did end their finish their second end and didn't hang that score either. They're an end behind.
And behind on hanging the score, yes.
End behind on hanging the score.
What do you like?
Oh, which team scored there? Maybe I got it wrong there. What is it? On D?
On D,
On D, Chris scored 1 in the
Okay.
first end. That's all we have
yes,
so far.
Chris scored 1 in the first end.
Had it backwards there.
They finished the second, but nobody's hung the score yet for that.
Joe, push. Joe. Hard Joe. Hard Joe.
Although Red must have scored because they threw the first rock, so I'm not sure what So here comes Calvin's final rock. Gilad trying to jump it, but Calvin not letting him. It's going to be close. He's by, and now it's just going to hit it too thin, like I said, and jams.
Jam. And that
And
looks like yellow's
one,
sitting 1.
So he's got an open draw for 2.
Open draw for 2.
That was the risk of throwing that shot. If you hit it too thin. I mean, he didn't make it by that guard by very much, but
about 3 or 4 inches.
I had my doubts that that shot was really there. That was a really nice first rock from Eli to end up where he did. And that's the danger of having all those rocks behind the tee line. If you have all those rocks behind the tee, there's a jam going to happen at some point, and this time it just happened to be on the last rock for him.
So is that yellow rock near us really in play? It looks like it's behind the line, but it's my angle.
Oh, yeah, it's not that's out. Dude, I think he just hasn't moved it.
Oh, this one over here on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's out of play.
Just hopefully nobody trips on it.
Adam. Hard Adam. Hard Adam. You got this. You got it. You got it.
Eli shots away.
Eli
Line looks
has
good.
backing.
Weight looks good.
He can be a little bit heavy. You just can't go in between those two reds that are in the back.
I think the weight's perfect.
George already raising his hand. Nice shot. So that'll be a deuce for Team Clausen. They will take a 2-1 lead after 2 ends of play. Nicely managed there. They never really panicked. They kept trying to get one behind the guard and eventually forced a miss out of Team Weber. Calvin's rock was maybe either just a little bit too heavy or a little bit wide, and jammed right on that one, just like I said it would. I mean, sometimes I'm smart, I guess. So I said that was the danger, and sure enough.
It was.
Yep, right to it, guys. Line's good. Line's great, right to it. Top 4. Line's great. Yep. Line's real good. Top 4. Yep. Right throw. Line's real good. Yeah, sweep a little. Feels like it's coming down. Yep. Whoa, we gotta go hard, guys. Top 12.
So Ben Keene is chiming in on the comments on the YouTube here. He's normally plays for Team Clausen, but he's out this week.
Bring a little bit.
Cheering his team on from afar.
Overgrown a little bit. Yeah, bumper.
Team Clausen choosing to go in on this one.
Hard right to it, yes!
Yeah, hard.
Hard!
Hard. Just over. Either tap this or just gonna lose a lot of line. The triple's right there. I like the triple. Okay. Yeah. Gotta throw a pretty big weight. Yeah. Okay. Time. That was nice. Throw. 2.5. One more.
So as you might expect, our sheet is a bit behind the other ones. This one's for all the marbles, so they're going to take a little longer to decide on their shots maybe than the other ones that are also important games, but perhaps a little bit lower pressure on their shots. So we do finally have a score in the second end on sheet D. Hacktree boys did take a single in that one, and they are tied 1-1 after 2 ends of play. So that one just sneaking into the bite the 12-foot, leaving Calvin with a bit of a decision to make. So he's not too worried about the double right now, but he wants to try to use his guard that they put up. He's going to hit and roll behind it. Looks like Jeremy's a little bit on that track that Eli found in the first end. It's a little bit wide,
right.
and tracking
Wide.
straight. Just gets a little piece of it.
A little piece of it, and he's going to leave it in the house.
Muscalat can get it out.
So he can get it out. He did.
Oh, he did.
Got it out.
He got a little extra bonus spin out instead of a spin in on that one. Yeah, keep an eye on some of these lines. Sometimes sometimes they find a little track that runs a little straight sometimes, and that seemed to have been one of them. If you throw a little extra weight right around 4-foot line on this this ice, it's going to be a little bit tracking a little bit straighter.
It is. Eric Clausen called for a centerline guard to cover up the stone in the top 8, but it's out there quite wide. and it's not coming back. May have covered a quarter of the snow.
Just wait, guys. This back line. Yeah. No, never.
They can easily get to that coming in with the intern.
Yeah, you do.
So lots of fans tuning in from all over the country. Ben is actually tuned in from Union, Kentucky. We have Art Weber. I'm hoping that's his dad, maybe, or a relative at least, from Madison, Wisconsin. Snowing there in Madison. That was not nearly enough weight from Gilad. He's trying to hit that, right?
He was trying to hit that and roll behind.
And that only tapped it up to just barely the 12 foot. So that was not even close to enough weight. Real big, good chance now for Team Clausen to really lock this end down and maybe get a steal or something out of it. Have some other Calvin Weber fans representing from Wisconsin as well. Dave Bykowski, former Potomac Curling Club member, tuning in from Connecticut.
All right, keep going, keep going. Bring it a little bit.
Good guard from Ron Aubin. We have an interesting lineup for this Clausen team. Ron will hold the broom for Eric and let Eli do all the sweeping. Even though Eli is throwing the last rocks and Eric calls the rest of the shots.
And it looks like they're going to try for the double. Or, I take that back, sorry. Try for the double.
The odds a little tight on this one again.
I think he's by the guard. He is definitely by the guard. And
gets both of them moving. Let's see if he can get this one out.
He cannot. He will stay on the update on score on sheet C. Goranova was able to take a single stone in the third end. Score is now 2-1. Tony's Beer Distributors. Joe Rockenbach and team.
Ron was calling a hard sweep there until Eli decided to take over and must have just pulled that rock right out. Just trying to sit two in the house here.
And he draws in behind into the back four.
Oh, just a tad
touching
deep
the
again.
button. Tad
It's
deep.
It's all right.
Looks like it's well guarded. Well,
It is, but it does give them a chance.
Yeah, there's a lot of distance in the guard between the
well,
guards.
it is behind the tee line, which allows them to draw down to it. Taking the same ice, come around that top guard.
Hold line. Yep.
Okay, they're sweeping.
They initially thought it was a little bit wide, but that thing's coming back hard now.
That looks light to me.
He's trying to get it in there.
They are trying.
Got to get a piece of the
I
button.
think it's going to be biting top 12. Yeah, that's a
rock,
bit light.
A lot of weight came off of that rock. It looked like it was going all right for a while.
Guard or we play like this. You know, let Eric look. I like that. Guard. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Take it a little wider.
Eli, as juniors are wont to do, is always sees the double somewhere. Thought he could pick off that red guard and also get the red that's in the top 12, but they Eric decides he would rather throw the guard.
That looks a little heavy for a guard.
This is a tricky one. You can be in the house, but you gotta get through those two reds.
And
just rubs a little bit.
May.
So that yellow that he just threw, the shooter is still wide open now. The guard is not in front of that at all. So
there's a possibility for a run back here.
Yeah, he can make a double on that. Pick off that one that's in on the button.
Even he clears out of the way. He's put some weight on this.
And it might be really close.
If he comes to the inside of that stone, it's going to be, he will not get that.
Got a good amount of curl out of that one, even though he threw it.
There was a lot of curl. Well, that leaves Clausen with an opportunity to either draw him behind or throw the guard. Maybe into the top
they
8.
Do not have hammer, remember, so if,
correct. He's trying to hide that. I
yeah.
mean, try to steal one here.
So right now, Weber is sitting 2 and 3. If they could somehow get that rock off the button, and they do have that guard out on the left side. If you guys have bought it when watching that World Championships, those corner guards come into play more often than you expect them to sometimes. So if he manages to pick that one off with that corner guard, or maybe he can pick it off straight, they have a chance to score multiple if they're not careful here. Eli still wants to get rid of that red one. He doesn't like that one being there.
Eli doesn't think they can take out the stone on the back 4, biting the button.
I think that's what he's trying to say, is that if he doesn't think they can pick off that yellow, he wants to get rid of the danger rock, the red guard that would potentially take that yellow rock off.
He's actually going to take away that angle raise.
Yeah.
The angle takeout.
He's trying to throw a little hit and roll.
Yep.
You got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to jam on that back yellow as well. If you do, then you maybe leave Weber with 3 rocks hanging around somewhere, and only your one yellow hanging in there. Goes right underneath everything. Ooh, and little hack damage there. So now it's up to Calvin to see, can I get this yellow rock off of the button somehow?
That'd be an awful thin hit.
Let's watch sheet C a little bit.
That's not a bad shot on sheet C.
Wait, was that Diana again? Yeah, it was. Go figure.
Well, he took the camera over to show it. I said, well, actually, that isn't a bad shot. lot of weight on this stone here.
All right.
Could be a good run back here. Certainly going to clear the guard.
He's going to get 1 yard.
A little bit
right.
of a roll. All right, here we go.
Calvin did decide. I think he just called for the freeze, basically, here.
Even if he freezes onto the corner of that stone.
Yeah. If he,
It looks like it's out there for, that's pretty far out. I don't think that's going to curl back on the button at all.
that's a little
It's going to
heavy
go
too, I
by.
think,
It's
yeah.
heavy and it's wide. Yeah, it's going to go right to the back house, if not through.
That's through. Had an opportunity there, but now Eric has a. Eric and Eli have another decision to make.
Oh, that thing's cutting.
So Eric and Eli now looking at the other side of the sheet where there's red rocks to possibly run in. See if he can figure out what to do. I'm not really sure.
He was just playing the freeze. I don't really think the hash rate is here. Because the most you can hit is here. I think with hack weight, he might be able to move this to here. I don't think he's making it out. Okay. And if we throw it here, it has to make like a double run for 1. Control up.
So it did look like looks like they just decided to try to get another one in the house here, figuring that if he can get one to be just biting the 8-foot somewhere, that the worst case scenario he makes a double run back for 1, or just the draw that he just tried to throw for 1. Either way, it's still not an easy shot for Weber, even if he did try that double run back.
Well, there is a possibility he gets around that top corner guard. He could get into the 8-foot ring. And
He's got to get around it, though. It's
yeah,
already on it.
It's already on it. Yeah, it is, absolutely.
Well, now they're just trying not to do any more damage by bumping another one in. It's a tricky spot out there. You get that far out, you never know quite where you're going to end up. Did he just line the... No, he did not line them up.
No,
Okay.
he did not.
Thought for a second there he might have lined one up for him to...
I think to take a point here, he needs to come around and...
I think he just has to throw that same draw that
He has
he's
to
trying to
throw the
throw
draw.
and just be better on the weight.
Third end on sheet D. Kriz picks up a 3.
Is it a 3 or?
Yes,
it
picks
is
up 3 to go up 4-1.
So Calvin is convinced that the hack weight shot is there for this to possibly score.
Oh, beautiful freeze by Catherine Gorianova.
Yeah, you can't leave her those shots.
No.
I've learned that over over my time playing against her. So Calvin thinks that this shot is there. He thinks the hack weight, put that broom tight, maybe get a 2 or a 3 if you manage to keep yours hanging around somewhere. Now that he's down in the hack, though, he's maybe not quite so sure. He sees how much he can see, and it's not very much.
This is going to be a tough shot.
Yeah, either way, it was a nicely played end by Clausen. They controlled the action.
Stone's away. Line looks good. Weight looks good, too. He's just going to make sure he gets it around there. Oh, he's going. It's by. It's by that top guard.
Trying to push it to get it to.
And he doesn't. Oh, but he does not get it out far enough. Wow. Executes the shot. But
Needed
it's
to
not,
curl a tiny bit
a little
more.
bit more.
Very close, though. So that's a steal of 1 for Clausen. They will take a 3-1 lead after 3 ends. It's a tough break for Calvin. They almost got around that one and poked it out, but just a little bit, just didn't quite get
Yeah, when
enough
they're
action on there.
yeah, when they're that tight, it's leap of faith to not call sweep. You don't want to pick the guard.
Or you can freeze if you like, whatever you want.
All right, so I have a feeling it's going to start out the same as the last end did. Clausen's going in the house.
Okay, Gorinova's freeze on the back stone is still there.
She's trying to draw in.
She's
for,
trying
for
to
deuce.
guard. Well, she could draw a deuce, but she doesn't have the hammer here.
Or draw into sit two. Right? Sorry.
Trying to sit two.
Or
Guard as
just
well.
one.
That's a guard. That's a good
That's
guard.
actually a really good shot.
That's a great shot. Looking to steal here.
They don't have Tony's Beer Distributors doesn't really have a good draw path, and that basically plugged up the hole. That was a good weight to throw on that one, because if you throw it a little bit heavy and you happen to be sitting two, then you're happy with that. But if you just throw it in that hole, that's good too.
Looks like they're coming in from the outside on sheet C.
I don't think he has a
Doesn't have much of a shot there.
much of a shot. Might just be happy just giving him the one. They do. Tony's does have a 1 point lead, so if he gave up the one, they would still be tied. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but you definitely don't want to throw anything where you're tapping in one of the yellows somehow.
He's going to try and come in through a port and try to bite the edge of the 4-foot ring. All right. So Cedar Kennedy throws a 3 guard on the center line. Very tight guard. Stone took off on them. He's going to get to, oh, he could actually push Gorinova for his second shot.
Oh. That one was going sideways.
That went sideways at the end. So Gorinova picks up a deuce, steals a deuce.
That's exactly what I was saying. He was trying to avoid the center.
That's right.
Altogether. He was trying to go all the way around the outside.
Oh, he was trying to come in off the left side
outside,
here, draw into the 4-foot ring.
Came straight over and hit that guard that Gorinova threw, and that is a steal of 2 for them. They take a 1 point lead after 4 ends.
All right, Ron Aubin is throwing a stone to the back 4.
Yeah, Jeremy, I think was just trying to freeze to that top 12 with yellow.
That's correct.
And came a little bit deep. Probably can see about half of that rock, 3/4 of that rock maybe, and so they're just going to throw a little bit of a down weight hit at it.
Stone his way. Line looks good. Line looks really good.
Yeah, that's just a back line. It's hanging out there. I don't know.
Yeah, it did. It hung out there for a while. Yeah, I think they did. As it came by that.
Had a fair amount of room.
Yeah, it had at least 2 or 3 inches up there.
So that managed to bump that red down behind all those guards and those 2 yellows in the front of the house. Good situation now for Weber to get right back in this game. trying to get Yalad to throw that same freeze he called earlier. If he can get it frozen to that top yellow, control the front of the house, they'll be in really good shape for this end.
All right, Jeremy.
Oh, they're over sweeping that stone.
A couple of them overcooked on this line. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Came over just enough.
Just enough.
If that bounces off anymore, it gives them the possibility of a double on those reds. But
just nose it. If we nose it, we're not losing the yellow. It's just taking over, which is really good for us. Same weight. I like a little more. Maybe a little more. Maybe forward.
I like this shot.
yeah, like
But
I said,
it looks
you
like
wanna-
he's going to come in with some weight with that kind of tight ice.
He really said he was only going for a little more. They didn't really clarify what a little more is, but
Good board.
Board
Good
weight.
board
It's
weight.
board weight. Line looks good.
Eli heard the sweep call but didn't really believe it. He's kind of holding off in this one a little bit.
Oh, this will be a nice shot. 'Cause
Coming right
it'll
over to
tap
the
that
nose.
yellow, just as Eli said. It'll tap that yellow over and behind. Oh,
Oh,
it didn't move it
didn't
at all.
barely.
Jeez. All right. Well, that was kind of interesting.
So red is now sitting 1 and 3.
Correct.
So if they can double off these yellows, just a little bit off nose on the yellow, double them off, they could be sitting 2 at least for sure. I am surprised that the yellow didn't move a little bit more.
Yeah, I am too. This looks good. Look at this shot. All right, just off nose.
Oh, it's way off.
It's going to
nose.
jam.
All right, not ideal, but makes things interesting.
Sheet D has moved into the 5th end. They have not hung a score in the 4th. But red is throwing the first stone, which means they've picked up a point or it was blanked. I don't know.
They're throwing the first. They had hammer in the last end, so that must mean they scored. Yeah.
Well, there's the
Yes.
score. So that's
Those are 3 right back. Wow.
Oh, all right, ties it up.
Yeah. Hack Street Boys tying up the game with a 3 spot of their own in the 4th. Tied at 4. So Eric is going to try to tap up one of his yellows. Still control the front of the house and get one of his behind those cards up there.
Back line.
Back line, I think, is a little heavy, isn't it? I would have thought they were only going for back 4 or back 8. You don't want to hit that too thin.
No, and it looks like it may do that.
I might want to just miss it now.
Did miss
He's
it.
just missing it, yeah. Goes into that back one. You're playing. They seem to like this. I think it's downhill coming this way, Bruce. That must be what it is. All the rocks coming.
They're all
this-
coming to the back
on
of the house.
On the even ends, all these rocks are in the back of the house. It's just must be the downhill side.
All right, he's going to try and execute this shot again, which is to freeze on the corner.
No,
of
no,
this.
he's playing tighter. He called hack weight. I think he wants to actually.
Take it off?
Yeah, he's going to try to just poke it off to the side and. They found this straight track again. This is a straight line.
Well,
right here.
sheet B on that side, it has a tendency to be very straight. He's going to come to that back stone, and this actually may work out well for him.
It did get 2 of those yellows kind of jamming out. Yeah, they just keep finding a little bit of a straight track on some of these. So Eli, I think, has gotten scared off of that tap shot just because of the way the line's been tracking. He's getting a little nervous with all these reds still hanging around. So he called, I believe he called for nose of these back two red rocks.
Yeah, sheet B over on the left side coming toward the glass has a tendency to run straight after the hog line.
This one also running straight.
Yeah,
I don't know if
runs.
he's going to get the nose at all. He's going to hit it on the outside.
He's going to hit. Yeah, he's going to hit it on the outside. Wait,
he makes the double.
Makes
though.
a double
That's
out.
All right.
Spills himself. Keeps one in.
I think that's a good result. So Calvin adjusting. I think the broom is a little bit tighter than the previous shot, and he told George to throw a little bit less weight. He definitely scooched that broom in a little bit right there.
Well, he sure as heck doesn't want to nose it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to crash on that guard. He's worried about a little bit sometimes about taking a little bit too much ice off. And
oh, it's coming over on the guard. It's coming up on the top guard.
Still trying to get it by.
Oh, they're trying to get it by. I think he's going to pinch it, though, and he does.
Took a little bit of both of those. It's the danger. You take a little bit too much ice off, and next thing you know, you're hitting the guard. You lose that straight track that you were just on, and then all of a sudden it curls a little bit more. You get closer to that center line. The good news for Weber is that they are still sitting shot rocked. That one in the back is not going anywhere, I don't think. So Eli wants to play this tap again. I think he has a little bit more room than he had before, now that they tapped that yellow guard over a little bit. So let's see if he can get the weight dialed in. I'm going to try to get a split on this one. So those last couple of tap attempts, draw attempts were just heavy. So maybe if he gets the weight right, it'll get a little bit more curl, and he really only needs to tap it up a little bit. Just has to be careful about not leaving them double.
Got a lot of room.
That seems like a lot of weight too.
It's out there.
Eric's already calling for a draw around. 14-1. It's close, but still a little bit heavy.
I think it's going to come behind. And it does. All right.
So as I mentioned, Weber's still sitting one, but now there are three other yellow rocks in the house. Don't think that red is really going to go anywhere. I don't think you can get to the nose of that yellow to run it back.
Gorgeous shot over in sheet C.
So Calvin's trying to figure out how he's going to get two here. Where can he put this rock? That's a safe place. Maybe get two, and if they get another miss out of Eli, maybe get three somehow.
He's still worried about that tap back.
Yeah, I would be too. I mean,
well, he's going to come in from the other side. Now this will be interesting because very few shots have been thrown from this side.
I think maybe one of the upsides of playing this side is that if you get a little more curl or something on the God, I literally just started it again. So if you get a little bit more curl on this one, then maybe that red taps into the yellow and blocks that tap that he's trying to throw. So
That's a good point. Yep. I can't quite see where it is.
So
that looks like it's got fairly decent weight. I think he's around the guard.
No, I think he's getting a piece of it.
He's going to get a piece of the guard and do exactly what I think you said.
Yeah. So now, unfortunately for him, he tapped it maybe a little bit too far over, and Eli can just draw around those two yellows. As like you said, that was the side of the ice they hadn't played yet, so he wasn't. He took a little bit more ice than he initially wanted to call, and then still was just a little bit too tight to get around those guards. So Eli now with a good chance to get around those guards. There's two yellows in the top of the house.
And pull it into the 4-foot ring.
Put some real pressure on Calvin with his last shot. Taking ice just a little inside of the 8-foot, edge of the 8-foot. See what this line does. That line was around closer to the 4-foot line that was running a little bit straight.
Right. Hey, eyes, as long as the weight's there.
They're trying to get it there.
It's a bit
little
light.
Bit light.
It's just going to catch the 12.
Yeah, it's just that different line. It's a little bit slower maybe. He had a good line. It was tracking in there really nice, but it just didn't quite have the weight. So.
Well, Weber's got two shots here for, this is his hammer shot.
Yeah.
And two possibilities, just run back into the house.
Or he can almost throw the same draw he just tried to throw. He has to be full 8 with maybe a little bit more than full 8.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to play a tap back here. That makes sense.
I mean, in theory, if he throws roughly the same weight, almost on the same line, he'll tap that one straight back. I mean, that's...
He's taking a little more ice.
Taking a little more ice, so... He has a few options. If it hangs out a little wide, he taps up the outside red. If it curls a little more, he gets the inside red.
All he has to do is get full 8.
Make it sound so easy. I mean, that's why we're in here and they're out there.
They're out there. That's right, both of us.
All right, so here we go. Looks like he's going to
I like the line on this.
He's going to be on that outside one, I think.
It is on the outside one. Has he got the right weight?
He's got to get the right angle, too.
I think he's got the right angle for certain. And that's a perfect shot.
Very nicely done.
Taps it to full 4.
Beauty. So
Picks
that's
up a deuce.
Deuce for Weber. They tie up the game after 4 ends.
3-3.
Very nicely done.
On the left of the screen, I'm showing, you can see how they're doing on sheet C there. It looks like they're sitting with red with 1 at the moment.
A messy house.
So yeah, a lot of guards out there too.
Where that broom is, it looks like they're just throwing another guard too. Red does have a couple of stones they can run back on that side, so Catherine's just going to try to put a rock in front of those, protect them up.
Yep. Line's good, yep. Keep her moving. Yep. All the way to a 2. Yep, yep, yep. yep. Okay, that's nice. Right there.
All right. Whoever leads off with the center line guard. 2 guard. Clausen is going to draw into the top 4 behind it. Good call. I like this.
And on sheet C, they're down to the hammer. So one red left to go with, and they're sitting 1 at the moment.
Cedar Kennedy is one of the few lefties that we have out on the ice tonight.
Bring it, Jim. Yes, the line. Hard line.
It's a bit light.
We actually have, what do we have? 3 lefties, I think. Mike Kriz over on sheet D is a lefty, and Brandon Morse.
Brandon Morse is
Also a lefty.
Yeah, you're right.
So we got 3 lefties out.
3
one,
lefties.
1 per sheet. That's our limit.
Jeremy, top 8.
Staring at a lot of red stones in the house over on sheet D.
Yes, line. Line. Whoa, 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 whoa. How much? Here it comes. Yes. Whoa. Break out. Back. Whoa. There. Whoa. Whoa. Less.
That's a
Jeremy
bit
draws,
deep.
yeah, a little bit deep behind the guard, but definitely back of the house again.
Yep.
Whoa.
That looks a bit wide.
Yep. Whoa.
It still hasn't crossed the center line.
No, it has not.
So on sheet C, we're seeing the hammerstone coming in right now. Comes on the right side of the screen.
Oh, it gets a little tick. Did he make it in there? Oh, didn't quite make it in there for second shot. So I think that was just a score of 1 for
Which means that they've tied it up on
right there.
sheet
Tony.
C.
Yeah. Tie game
They're in
3-3 after
3 to
5.
3. We got 3 tie games out here tonight.
Let's take a look at sheet D's house, since you were talking about all the stones
Sheet
in
D.
there. So look at all that
Oh, they
color.
do have a yellow one there.
one yellow, but it's
So
sitting
red
second.
is only sitting 1.
Yeah.
Where are we?
And this is red's last shot.
Yeah, George. Hard line. Hard. Move.
Yeah, they're going to try to protect that one, I think.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I don't know how anything other than 1 red results from this. Unless you somehow
No.
manage to pick your yellow off of there.
Oh,
So that was a
Russian.
nice draw there by Gilad. Gilad managed to keep his in front of the tee for a change. Like all these draws have been going heavy. You see Cedars Rock ended up in the back 12, but Gilad managed to draw around that guard into the top 4. So Ron is now going to try to just freeze right to the top of that one. Get a little Christmas tree action going on here.
Lots of room. Wait on it. Wait on it. All right. We don't want to guard. Throw a doorbell. You gotta wait on it.
Oh, that's
It's
sitting
a
out
little
there for
wide.
a while.
Push a little bit, Eli.
Oh, got the
Little
top guard.
rub.
Little rub. And well, that pretty much protects those stones.
And indeed, over on sheet D, it was just a score of 1 as Kriz threw away his last rock. He did not want to mess around with that. It's a steal of 1 for Hackstraight, I believe.
Oh, beautiful draw by Abby Shulkin. The top 8 behind the center line guard.
So with that last rock coming up short, Gilad is going to try to put another one, split the house behind the other guard on the left side.
Whoa. Okay, Jeremy. Hard line. Whoa, 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 we're five.
Oh, beautiful line on the stone.
Just got to come down a little bit, see how the weight is.
By the guard. And another stone right to the tee.
Very nicely done.
Beautiful shot.
Great pair there by Glock. Two really nice draw weights there.
Yeah, I don't mind looking at that, but it's just like hack weight. Hack. Maybe, yeah. All right, took control.
1/3. 1/4.
Control.
Okay. Maybe even back.
All right, so control weight hit here for Ron Alvin. He's going to just try to run back what he can see of that yellow, see if he can
Nope. Not yet.
get it into the other red rock. Even if he doesn't, then he peels off and gives himself some room. Eli's trying to help it. And oh, he got it over.
And
oh,
does it.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Although, no,
They're not.
who's shot rock?
I think red is still shot rock.
How much?
And
Half?
you can see half the stone from the outside.
I'd rather come this way.
I agree.
You want to hit it?
Yeah, on the other side. I don't care. I'll draw. I don't mind.
How much? Little more than half.
I think George has actually had pretty good draw weight today.
George, I don't mind if
I
we
don't
take
hate the
the
draw
card.
for him.
Back 4 away.
He's going to come in from the outside. He's going to try and get that stone. And Weber says he doesn't mind if he peels off that guard.
He sure didn't take the ice to get the guard. Dude.
Nope.
So.
Oh, it's got to move. Oh, it's starting to move well now. Oh, boy, I think they waited too long. Nope, they got to buy. They got to buy. Oh, look at this shot.
I don't think they actually.
Wow.
Ooh, wow, and
What
just
a
misses the back
shot.
red as well. Man, I was going to say for a second there, I thought they pushed it a little too much with that directional sweeping, but just squeezed it by that back red. Now red is sitting 3 in really good shape.
If that's going to be sit 3.
All three sheets are really close games here.
Odessa Huera about to make a shot for a double. That's curling a lot on her. Noses it.
So a bit of debate about what to do here for Team Clausen. Looks like they decided to play another run back. You can run back your yellow into the red on the side of the forefoot, maybe be shot behind some yards.
It's got a good line.
Oh,
No.
it just didn't quite curl enough.
No, didn't curl enough.
I don't think that's what they were hoping for at all. I think you really wanted to hit it thicker and, in the worst case, nose it and leave his yellow up there still. They're sitting 3, Weber is now in clear control of this end.
Top 12? Yeah, get in the way, yeah. Even a little closer to center. Okay, top 12 is good. Right here. We can even come down to a freeze here. Normal. Yep. Let's go top 12.
Be at the center line.
Yeah, I don't hate a guard. I just want to tuck a corner under this
Sheet
yellow.
D, Hat Street boys picked up a single stone in the 5th end. They now lead 5-4.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yes! Hard! Hard, 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 hard.
So George is trying to throw the top 12. Even just biting the 12-foot is fine. This is hitting that straight line again, though.
Yeah, it is. It's not moving. Well, it's going now.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, it's going
Yes,
well.
yes, yes. Come on, Jeremy. Come on, all the way in. Hard, 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 hard.
And they pull it to bite the top
Just
12.
very nice.
Nice shot, sitting 4
Pretty
now.
much exactly what he called for. Just tucked a little bit underneath that yellow rock. It took a long time to curl, but it eventually got over. If you throw the right weight, it'll curl.
It'll curl.
Go figure. So he did leave so the shot rock right now is that red that's just right on the tee line. And I think Eric thinks that he can freeze over to that one. So he's just going to try to throw a draw to the tee line.
Back 8, back 12.
Eli called back 12, which it's a bit heavy.
That's a lot of. It's got,
Clearly.
well, they're sweet. They're trying to pull it over.
Trying to figure out the line.
It's starting to move. It's moving well. It's moving really well. It's by that top guard. Oh, this would be a fine shot.
Yeah, that was not back 12. Back 8, though. Yeah,
It might be
good.
out in the open, though.
No, it's pretty
Oh,
well
you're right.
behind
It's
that
pretty
guard.
well. It's behind that
I
guard.
think that's exactly what he's trying to do.
20%, maybe? 15, 20?
Yeah, unfortunately for Weber, I think the piece of the rock that he can see is the piece that jams into that red for sure.
Yes.
So I think he just has to freeze again. If he maybe plays a back 8 weight just like Eric Clausen just did, he can maybe get to the nose of it and tap it straight back, but probably the safer bet is to just freeze to the corner of it. That was a really nice shot by Eric Clausen, I gotta say. That was, took a little bit of time to get over and curl, but even though he was facing 4, he knew the shot was there and played a really nice wave into it. So that looks like about the same ice that Eric just took. So freeze is the call. If he's a little heavy, then he can tap it around a little bit, but he's got to get pretty close to nose if he wants to move it at all. I don't think he wants to stay. If he stays on the inside and he's heavy and rolls open, that's not great. Key shot here for Calvin. Let's see if he can make the nice draw weight. I think he's struggled a little bit with his weight so far. He's been a little bit heavy.
That's going to move a lot.
Trying to get
Oh, they're
Gilad
pulling.
to
They're
push
sucking it over. Here it goes. Here it goes.
It's still on the inside of
Yeah,
that rock, though.
it's going to. And
Tap it and roll open.
Roll open.
That was the danger.
That's all right.
They have a little bit of air now on that red rock. If they manage to hit and flop behind to the right side of the sheet, they're going to be in really good shape. All of a sudden, after Calvin was sitting 4, Eli and Team Clausen have a chance to be sitting 2, and both of them protected pretty well, too. Big turnaround in this end just from 2 shots. That's what, I mean, when you have good draw weight, it'll save you sometimes. See if Eli can get
Taking
dialed in a little bit.
He's taking tight. Oh, he moved it an inch.
He's had a couple rocks where he was run a little bit straight on his hits. Trying to make sure that he at least just gets to nose, doesn't want to sit right where it is. Ron's trying to hold it.
Oh, it is moving.
Oh man.
Oh, it's going to be on the guard. And it is.
Tough break.
Wow.
That thing curled.
It did curl a lot. Well, I mean, you don't have the hammer here. Do you take?
I think you gotta, yeah. I don't know that I would want it that deep, George. That's, I mean, if anything, you know that Eli will take a double, an attempt at a double.
I put one on the center line.
At the same time, you don't want to leave it so far out that he can run back with that yellow on the right side there for 2.
Right, put it on center.
That's a tough
maybe
one,
a 2-guard center line, 2 and 3 guard.
I have 1/4, just so you know.
Oh, wasn't watching sheet C, but somebody just threw a beautiful shot to the button.
I think that was Brandon. That was
Brandon threw that?
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous shot.
It's that lefty.
That's
Lefty
a
magic. He may have just bailed his team out there too, because looked like they were maybe giving up a deuce there, but he managed to get one tucked behind some yards. So.
Even if we come to here, they've got the draw. If we do the split, we're sitting 4, they still have the draw. Just a little more, George. Or we try and get here first.
All she needs to do is tap this. Get a little bit of separation here. And that's not a bad shot.
Well, Calvin now is trying to just put one in front there. This one's over curling just a little bit.
And it's going to be a little deep.
Just over curled a little bit.
Over curl, well, you can still see
Only got half of it,
half
though.
the stone.
So he's going to have to throw like just a delicate back house weight here. So we're right behind this sheet, and I can see probably about half of that red rock behind the yard. He needs to just tap this back to just past the 4-foot and hang around on his own and maybe get a deuce. This is, I think, that same line in the first end that went a little bit straight for, I think it was Calvin, right? Tried to throw one. Maybe it was the third end. Just called for hack weight on this, so let's see if he can get through the hole and just tap it back just a little bit. See if he can get his deuce out of it.
Nice clean release. Nice
That one-
line.
That one looks like it's close.
Oh, it's close. Oh, no, I think
Over
he's
curl
going to,
again.
it's over curling. He's on the guard. And this could be
Oh,
a problem.
no. Wow, that was disastrous. He just tapped up the red
Tapped
for
up
a
to
steal of
bite the edge
2.
of the 4 to take a 2.
Wow.
Weber steals 2 in the 5th end.
They took plenty of ice on that, I thought, for that kind of weight. He threw enough weight to. So yeah, just Eli had two hits just over curl on that in that end. Gave up a steal of 2. So Weber now has a 2-point lead after 5 ends.
After in the 4-foot, Jeremy. Okay?
I think this is more like it. Yeah. So I would say our center line.
sheet C on the right of the screen. You can watch the hammered stone coming in here. Well, not quite yet.
Right here. Right here.
This will be an
Pretty tough
interesting
shot.
shot for Catherine.
It's low risk and high reward. If you manage to make it, you probably get 2. I think. I don't
Oh, I
think
think
you get 3.
no, you won't get 3 because the yellow stone on the back 4 is going to pop
But you're
out.
never giving up more than a steal of 1 anyways.
Nope.
So worth a shot.
Now, if she hits it hard, that red stone could squirt out the back, and they could take a 2 here.
Having a little trouble making a decision, I guess.
She's coming right back down and maybe. Thinking
Yeah,
of
she's
something
looking at
else.
something else.
So I
Oh,
think,
she's looking at a run back here, I think.
can we maybe get a shot of the overhead on that real quick? So I think she thinks that she can run back one of her yellow guards and just pick that red off and maybe get 3. I think that's a harder shot though than the one that she had called.
She's going back to her original shot.
Yeah, this
She
one
does
I think
take-
she has,
Yeah, I think
because
she
those
does.
guards are so much further away. This one, I think if you hit it anywhere off nose, you're probably getting a piece of your yellow and at least getting 1. If you are off a little bit on the running back the guards that are 2 guards into that pile, then nothing happens at all. So. Definitely throwing some heat here. Trying to hold it out. I think it's a little bit. Oh, they called him up now. It's close.
Oh, well, she did what she wanted to,
Almost.
but she
Just didn't quite have the
didn't-
action.
Nope, didn't have enough action.
That was a good attempt.
Good
It
attempt.
Still only gave up a steal of 1 though. So Tony's beer distributors now takes a 1-point lead after 6 ends, 4-3.
You want to come in? Yeah. I don't think we need 2 guards.
So back here on our feature sheet, Team Weber shifted gears and decided to throw their first one in the house, and then threw their second as a nice guard.
Back line. You take that one.
Eric now thinks he can see a little bit of that one. So
You want to switch, Eli?
Mine's good. Where's that Rod? He's no good. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Tight as you can bring it now. Yep. Real good.
Yep.
So I believe they just decided to try for a delicate back house weight and maybe just tap that red that's in the house a little bit.
And I think they'll be able to
Oh,
do
yeah.
that.
Eli held that one really straight.
Eli is a
And they
very
did.
effective sweeper, and they got a nice roll behind their own guard.
Still red, still sitting shot, but
Just hack weight then, Rod. Yeah. Even the corner guard's okay.
Yeah.
So T-line guys.
That's just hack, right?
Just hack. Line good.
Yep.
Whoa, no line. Whoa,
Yep. Yes.
Whoa, whoa. Yes, sir. Hard.
Well, if they're by that guard, and they are.
Hard. I got 2/3. Hard.
Oh, very nice shot.
Bumper. Great throw. Bumper sound. That's great.
great roll.
Freeze. Yep. Control.
Yep. Hard. 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 Hard for line.
Bring it in.
Hard. Okay, we're good. Up. Up. Thank you.
Little tight. Shot it. Little tight. Yep.
Ron Aubin was trying to come down onto the stone, touching the button. And weight was good, but a bit light. It's coming down onto
Yeah, so that's still a guard.
That's a guard. Gilad is trying to throw another shot similar to what he had before in terms of weight. Push it out a bit. Be interesting to see how this one tracks.
All right, so we do have an update over on sheet D.
Jeremy, hard, Jeremy.
Mike, here.
There you go.
Okay. There was a big score there. It is now 8-5 in favor of Team Briz. They took a big, I think it was a 4 spot there. Big 8-5 lead now after 6 ends. Our game's still running a little bit behind everybody else, as expected. It's a close game for all the marbles.
Well, that puts Chris in a very, very good position, control position. They force a 1 here, come home up 2 with a hammer. That was a big end for Chris. Throwing board weight, trying to drive back.
This is actually, it's a little tricky. It's kind of the same thing that got him in a little bit of trouble last end. They were trying to throw, there were some guards out there, and instead of peeling things and playing a little more conservatively, they're playing a bit aggressively and trying to.
Boy, that thing started breaking right at the end, too. And
I think it's.
I'm not sure.
No.
No.
Oh, but he got a little bit under? Okay.
All right.
Interesting. So he opened up the part of that red rock that he needed to see. He might have a shot at removing those 2 now.
Yep.
So.
Well, it looks like, well, I don't know if, be surprised if he doesn't try to cover this up. He's going to try and put it down on the corner of that.
That would be a great
top
spot
12.
for it, yeah.
That'd be a great spot for it. Now this is the shot that they were trying to take in the 4th end, and we're having a lot of difficulty with it.
Yeah, this is the exact same line that was running a little bit
Exact
straight
same
on
line.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's going to be interesting. He's taken Brum just inside the edge of the 8-foot ring, which is where he was taken in N4. Now with the pebble worn down a bit, it may move a little bit more.
He did call for top 4. He wants to get another one in there somewhere, but I think the miss is to be a little bit light and freeze to the corner of that yellow. But this one is still tracking again. It's going straight. It's still on that outside guard.
It's on the outside guard, but it also flop over.
So it did flop over and it covered up the shot rock. So not a bad result. It was really hard to not have something good happen there.
Close.
Eli showing everybody all the angles.
Yep.
This goes here, and this goes here, and this goes here, and then you sit here, and then blah. Done. Sure.
Yeah, no problem.
They just have to feel like they're just chasing though all the time now. They haven't really, aside from when Eric made that one draw in the 5th end, they haven't really had a good control of any of the ends in particular, I don't feel like. So here he is throwing the hit, trying to get rid of some of those reds in the front of the house and clear some stuff up and maybe get a little bit of a roll behind a guard somehow.
Now here again.
It's hanging.
If he's on the
don't
extreme
hit your own
outside,
net.
you can come across and
Oh,
do that. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
wow.
disaster.
That was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, he had the broom placement on the center of the rock, and he must have just been a little bit wide.
Yeah, I was concerned that it would come across and take that yellow, which it did. So he puts another. So Weber is now sitting 4.
I bet all those Weber fans watching us are pleased.
The one thing they do have to keep in mind is that Eli still has to throw.
Yeah.
And Eli has been known to throw some power behind his stones.
He can throw some Kevin Cooey kind of weight.
Yeah, just not any really good angles there.
Oh, he hits that top stone, and there's going to be a lot of granite moving.
I think if he hits the top stone, nothing else happens. If he hits the top stone off nose, maybe gets the one.
He'll
the
get
red
2
that's
or
in front of
3
him.
out.
Yeah, there might be some action.
Now,
They're
this
going to try to draw another one in here, though.
Yeah, but it's actually coming over a little more than I think they wanted it to. Well, no, that's not going to hurt him.
Sitting 5.
Sitting 5.
And to figure out those angles again.
Oh, actually, on the YouTube, I can actually see the camera from above. Look at that.
Yeah, so I think it.
Yeah, Eli's looking where to place that stone because he gets one down in that pocket, and lots of stones are going to move. He could be sitting.
I think they're thinking about whether or not they should try if they throw the double on the top one, does it squirt through and maybe sit on the red that's one of the other reds?
Well, he does have hammer here. So whatever he moves around in the first, and where he needs to leave a stone in the house, though.
Well, this is Eric's last rock here.
Oh, this is Eric's last?
Yeah, Eric still
okay.
has one more, so
yeah,
they still have three
yeah,
shots
they still have
move
3 shots
a
to move a lot of rocks. I don't see a downside to taking this shot right now.
Hard! 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 Whoa, whoa, whoa!
That ran straight on him again. He's going to get 2, almost 3 out. It's a pretty good result, though.
That is a good result.
It opened up some more space for him.
Yeah, it moved the pack around.
Definitely doesn't look as scary as before.
No.
No, not at all. And with a hammer, he has an opportunity. Yeah.
But he just had to move some stuff around and give himself some
They're only
some
sitting
room.
2 now.
So now this is that spot now. It's that spot for Calvin. He overthrows it or is a little bit wide. What happened to Eric on his rock is that it hung out and jammed on his opponent's rock. That same exact thing could happen here for Calvin if he's at wide at all or heavy at all. So
Yeah, he really needs to get to the inside of that stone.
sorry.
Yep. It's on the outside of that stone.
It's not on the outside because Jeremy's sweeping it to hold the line.
Oh,
so.
yeah. This will be a fine shot. Oh, that's a great shot.
He did jam in the back, but that was not the one he was worried about jamming on. He just didn't want to hit it on the outside. So now they're sitting 3.
How much, Adam?
And there is a lot of separation between those top 2 stones. So there is a double there.
So the shot is definitely to play something on those top 2, I think. Unless you want to try, I don't think you can get enough curl out of it to freeze to the inside of that red that's on the side of the forefront.
Oh, I agree. I
or
agree.
even hit it on the end. Yeah, you can't.
I think the play is to get rid of those top 2 stones or move those around.
I mean, you're almost definitely hoping for a miss regardless. But if you make this double, and he's looking at rolling behind too, he's getting a little greedy. But if he makes the double and roll behind, all of a sudden this end is turned around a bunch, and Calvin really is going to need to make a really good shot with his last one.
On sheet C in a second, you'll see the last red stone coming in.
Is that
Every inch now. Every inch.
Oh, a beautiful draw there on sheet C.
Oh man, Brandon has had that
some
draw away.
great shots
He's had
tonight?
Yeah, he's had some game-saving shots for them.
And Eli lets one go. Looks like it's pretty much on the nose of that top stone.
A little on the outside.
And then a little on the outside, you're right. And he spills.
Oh, okay. He did hang on though.
That is.
That's important.
That is important because it.
If you look at those 2 reds, there's still a possibility of a double there. So they do need to be a little bit careful. If they don't want to leave Eli with a double, and with those 2 yellows hanging around on the edges of the 12, could still have a possibility of 3.
Gonna watch the hammer stone
Oh,
coming
look
in
at
on
this.
sheet C.
I'm not sure.
On your screen in
They
the
do
second
not
here.
want to be on that stone. It's gone by. All right. Well, Brandon Morse, with a beautiful draw, steals another shot. Goes up 5-3. He'll be coming home up 2 without the hammer. Not a bad position to be in.
That's he's made some really nice draw weights, so.
So he's stolen the last
why-
2 ends.
Yeah, basically with his last rocks on both of them too. He had he was facing shot rocks. Like Goryanova was sitting 1 on each of those ends, and he managed to get a nice draw behind cover on both of those to steal in the last 2 ends. That's why they pay the skips the big bucks, as in 0. Speaking of getting paid the big bucks, here comes Calvin with his last rock at the end. This one's hanging out a little bit. I think it's coming over just enough that it's going to
You
cover
got to
it.
keep going. Hopefully it'll pivot a little bit for them at the end. I think
he covered. Oh man, that is close.
That's
Hold on,
close.
I'm going to take a look. I can't quite see.
I think he can see that.
How much?
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah, he just didn't quite get it over enough, almost, but Eli can see, I think, enough of it that I'm not sure if, depending on what weight he throws, I'm not sure if he can save the shooter, but does have a possibility to get 3.
2 or possibly 3 here.
Yeah. Taking tight ice, so if he hits it probably out 3/4 of the rock, he will get the double. I'm not sure if that shooter will stay, but
Yeah, the hammer shot over on sheet D. If they give up another point here, looks like Chris is looking to steal at least 1.
oh, jammed on
Oh!
the guard again. Oh, no,
Well, no.
no luck there. So
Weber's
that's another
got
steal of
2 for Weber.
2 ends in a row with stealing 2. So they now have a 7-3 lead after 6 ends.
If sheet D doesn't score a point here, we may be seeing the end of sheet D. because Chris is sitting 2. And Chris takes
Came
2.
up short, yeah. Now
Chris
they're all kind of looking around. We're shaking.
That means they've gone up 5, so
10-5 lead with only one end to play is a
10 to
tough
5 lead, one end to play. So you have to steal 5 or take 5.
Take 5 with the hammer.
Take 5 with a hammer.
And there's
the tie.
handshakes. That is handshakes.
Handshake's going.
So congrats to Team Chris.
Team Chris wins the house plaque this year.
Make sure we're in. Yep.
That was Chris Faircloth, Michael Fry, Chad Shulkin,
Hard.
and Mike Chris. Congrats to them.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Nice shot. Hard.
Tony's Beer Distributors is sitting 3 right now. Catherine needs to take 2 to tie.
So it was setting up to be a very similar end to what they've been throwing. Weber came in the house to start and wanted to put another one in the house, I think, but came up short with their second one. So,
but not in a bad position, though.
Still guarding.
Still guarding.
Rock, yeah. So they do. Clausen can see a little piece of that, though, so they're just going to try to freeze to it. I mean, if you're Team Weber, you don't really want guards at this point. So
no.
And Clausen is pretty happy that they have guards, so they're going to try to use something somewhere.
Bring it, yep. Mine's looking good. Yep, bring it all you want.
Trying to drag this one right to the corner of that red rock. And
it comes up short.
Interesting. Hard to tell. Is that one in, Bruce?
No, it is. No, well, it's hard.
I don't know that they would want to peel it anyway, take it out anyways. But
was I really wide on mine? What? Was he wide? No. Let's just peel this guard.
They're going to peel their own guard.
We can also come down to this if we're wide. Yeah. 2. Peel. Yep.
So the 5-rock rule in effect, but it does not count for your own rocks. You can peel your own rocks out anytime you want.
That's correct.
So that's what Gila is going to try to do.
Yeah.
Eliminate a guard.
Hurry.
I think he's going to nose it. Well, no, he's going to hit it on the outside.
He picked his own off.
Yeah, that's...
They are still sitting shot. And
not quite what he wanted, though.
Not quite what he wanted, but I think actually he ended up protecting that better than it was before.
Let's just throw up. I like back 8, just do a little hit, little flip, little split. Throw the back 8, right back here.
They're just going to try to use the rock they just threw, split it into the house. be a little heavy and jam it on the red on the left side there and roll yours behind your own guard.
Or back 8 weight. Stones away.
Whoa!
Line looks good.
No,
Doesn't have a lot of weight, though, to do what he
Hanging
wants
out
to.
there.
Actually, I think what he'll do is end up drawing in behind it.
draw behind, yeah. That was a little bit, just a hair wide.
Just a hair wide, and he did draw it into the 4.
Right on the nose. Yeah, I like that. Yep.
At this point, you just start peeling that stuff out.
You want to play this turn? Yeah, I'd rather if you can. Okay.
This is probably the correct way to throw this rock. If you're a little wide, you hit your own, peel your own red out. The main thing you don't want to do is hit the yellow on the inside and jam it into your red and leave Clausen sitting 2.
Hurry! Hard, George!
See
Hard!
if George can hold this one.
Come on,
Which
George!
is
Come on!
He's got to stay.
possibly what he's doing.
He's jamming it.
And he
Oh,
did.
Just like I said. I hate it when I'm right.
You know, but he'd leave his stone in the house over on the right side. But
I mean, that's
that leaves
definitely
Clausen
not what
with
you
2 in
wanted
the
to
house.
do,
No, he
yeah.
did not want to do that.
You're up by 4. You're trying to
Not take points, trying to
yeah,
keep them from taking
You don't want to
points.
make the shot for your opponent. That's the tricky thing. So they're just going to try to cover this up a bit, I think. The main point here is to just try to, you're trying to make your opponent waste some rocks. You're sitting 2, you're in a good position. Don't get too greedy yet. You'll have a chance to maybe get a shot at 3 later. You got to make your opponent start making some good shots first.
And this is going to be a very nice guard.
Yep, they got it over just enough.
Yep.
You can maybe see a little bit of the outside of that yellow.
I think
Kind of tempting to go after it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like control weight, George.
There is a port.
There is. They can see about half of that yellow. It's that port that is just a little tempting, and you never know what might happen.
Well, Catherine Gorianova is sitting 1 over on sheet C. Brandon Morse with his first shot, trying to take that stone out. Leave Catherine with just 2 stones.
To score 2.
To score 2.
George with a nice one. Very nice.
Very nice shot.
Did get rid of one of those yellows. That was good for him.
And Brandon has missed this shot, which buried that stone even further, which gives Catherine an opportunity to get a second shot in here.
That all of a sudden opens up the opportunity for 3 even. She has 2 more rocks to go.
Just 2 more rocks to go is right.
She can make a good one here. It really puts the pressure on Brandon again.
Yeah, they have a hit from this side. We go top 8 right in front of it.
George's shot was good for 2 reasons. It put another stone over on the outside.
And took out one of his opponents.
And took out one of the stones.
Yep.
Yeah, there's one spot where it's really good. But anything off of that. I mean, if you're frozen and you're dead buried, that's fine.
Eli making it sound so easy. If you're frozen and dead buried, that's fine. Of course, yeah. Sure, just not a problem. You can do that. But there are, like Eric was trying to say, there are lots of places where it's not good. If you're a little open, a little short.
Catherine has put a second shot in the house, but it is not second shot.
It is fractionally close though, so they might think they might have to deal with it. Unfortunately for Tony's beer distributors, the easiest shot for himself is to try to play something off of his own, but that could also risk, oh, they just rubbed the guard, and that's exactly what Eric was trying to say. There are lots of bad places to leave your yellow, and that is one of them.
That is one of them.
Wide open for a potential double. When you are down by 4, the margin for error is very, very slim. Even if George just makes one of them go away.
Brandon Morse is looking at the double here.
George is wide.
Whoa! Whoa!
I'll get a piece of it. Not where he wants it, though.
Manages to miss all of the other rocks, so.
So this is a key shot for Brandon Morse on sheet C. He could win the game with this shot.
He's going to give you a look on the side of your screen there.
Yes!
Oh, he's really close to his guard.
Yeah!
It's close. Oh, and he makes a really nice one.
And
he
doubles
clears
them
all
out.
and that's
the end of the game.
Catherine does not have a shot for 2, so they are handshakes over there. Congratulations to Tony Beer Distributors. That's Adam Schichter, Jimmy Fallon, Brandon Morse, and Joe Rockenbach. They are your Senate plaque winners. All right, so last game still on the ice is our championship game, Capital League championship game.
They're drawing a second one in.
This one hung out way more than the first one did.
And it's a bit on the light side, too. And they put themselves in a position for another double. All right. I think they're going to want to clear that out. They're thinking about the shot.
Both teams are just getting a little antsy about their line calls, I think. I think on that shot, Eric was just, he didn't want to crash on the guard again. And so he was a little bit wide and a little bit light. And here Calvin is, saw George's rock float a little bit, and he doesn't want to, first of all, he doesn't want to wreck on the guard. And he also wants to make this double, not just peel out the front.
Yes!
Boy, that's moving quickly on him.
No, it's
He's out there.
still
He's
on the
got a good
outside.
line on it.
Yes!
He does make contact with the back one this time.
That's on me. That's all right.
So he jams it on the back, but
He's holding them to 1.
still holding him to 1. And Eli keeps going back to this outside red, thinking that if he throws a little down weight, he can get a little hit and roll behind and sit 2, with both of them being covered. Bring in the possibility of a 3. If he does manage to get 3 here, then they're right back in it. They're only down by 1. But
He's got to really watch his weight here. Again, sheet B on the outside has a tendency to run real straight. He pulls back on the weight, it will curl in.
he's had a couple curl on his hits, surprisingly.
Nice gentle weight. Somebody just brought me a cup of iced tea.
Oh, and he hits but rolls out. That is tough one. So,
from Litchfield Distillery, iced tea.
iced tea. So,
Is that the vanilla bourbon?
rolling out there now, the
Vanilla bourbon?
the worst that can happen for Weber is that they only give up 2. So Calvin's still trying to just get rid of this one. He thinks if he can throw control weight at it. Be careful with this one though. If you
Crash
come
on
up-
the
you
guard.
crash on the guard, I don't think you're going to bump him in with control weight. It'd be pretty hard to. You'd have to have something pretty disastrous happen to do that, but.
He's on his way. Line looks good. Oh, line looks really good.
Just got to let it curl
Yep.
a little bit.
There it
He's
goes.
got it. Very nice shot.
And he takes it out. So the worst he could do is give up a 1 here.
I don't think you want to be down. I don't think you want to be down 5, even if you do have a hammer. So.
Or if you could peel out the stone that's over on the 12-foot ring, be down 4 with the hammer.
Eli's looking at angles again. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's looking at an angle. I don't know. He's in a tough position right now. Down 3 without the hammer, or down 4 with the hammer. Tony's Beer Distributors out on sheet C. Get a nice photograph with the plaque they just won or earned. Well played by Brandon Morse. He threw some just beautiful shots at the end.
Makes me feel better about losing to them last week. So. Well, so I'm not really sure what the shot is here. He thinks there's some kind of crazy hitting and ticking other rocks and running stuff back to maybe get more than 1, but skeptical.
This cup of iced tea that they just handed me is dissolving the cup.
And
He
misses
flashed through everything.
And so that is a steal of 1 for Weber, and that's handshakes.
That's the end of the game.
So congratulations to Team Weber.
So I think the way the club championship has been, it was Clausen, Weber, Weber, and now again Weber.
Yes, but I think that it was Weber had won. It was Weber 3 years ago.
Before Weber, it was Shirk? Wow. Okay.
So that was Calvin Weber, Jeremy Unterborn, Gilad Kempenich, and George Shirk, your Capital League champions for 2019. Congratulations to all the teams. And that is all we have for today. Good job by Team Clausen also. Eli Clausen, Cedar Kennedy subbing in, Ron Olivan. They had a heck of a season as well.
Great season.
All right, guys.
Signing off from Potomac Curling Club.
We'll see you next year.